It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Dr. Obiajilu Ubu, how are you?
Excellent morning.
I've been feeling you these days. How are you doing? She's looking like 15.
Yeah.
You confessed 16 all these years, and now
16.
you are looking 16. How are you doing?
I'm all right. My body is sore. I resumed my workouts.
Nice.
Okay.
So yesterday I was knocked out by 9 p.m. I was already dozing. I usually sleep really late. So when Oga came back around that time, I was trying to gist with me. I was answering with one eye. Because this morning I was asking, okay, what did you say? What did I do? I didn't hear nothing. I was just, you know, but I still have a lot of errands to run. Sales are still going on in the shop. Thank you so much to my customers who have been patronizing. I've been posting the hairs that are sold out already so that they know you don't keep asking the same questions. And also I appeal to them to send DMs. Some people accused me that they sent messages in the comment section and I did not respond. Whether I'm selecting the people I'm selling to, me, I dare not. I cannot select. I need everybody's money. So please send me a DM if you're serious about purchasing the hairs, and we'll do business.
You're doing well.
There. Yeah, I am. Bless God for that. Yeah.
Ramat. That's like I can't
Ramatu.
You rather me call you Ramatu?
Yes.
Oh, Ramatu. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. So the kids over the weekend, the kids returned back to school. And shortly before she left for school, she's had her phone, so I seized it. So they kept manlies with me from Friday till like that Sunday in the morning. I was like, oh, but it was not time for her to come and ask for some things, so she had to talk to me. So we started talking, and then she went back to school. Yeah,
hey,
so
who was the
The yam and the knife.
yeah, so she learned something, so she had to talk to me, and all. And then business and everything. We've been going up and down sales and visiting supermarkets to see how far with our products, and if they have any complaint or anything, take note of them and try and adjust on all those.
Nigerian business. Nice. Well done. May the system continue to support you guys.
Amen.
How are you doing?
I'm very good.
You're also international.
Yes,
I saw somebody with this hair, but it wasn't this hair particular. I was just admiring it. I was like, you guys, now I know why you guys are going to buy this hair. It's pretty hair.
It's hair by BC.
I know.
It's hair by
I know,
BC.
I know.
It's hair by
Some of us
BC.
can't afford this kind of hair.
Oh,
please.
You like
Why you're wearing the cuff,
you like to
please?
admire it on your hair. This is high level. How are you doing?
I'm looking at you.
This is high level.
Oh my goodness, I'm doing very well. When the rain started falling, I had to change my thoughts, because at first I was like, I've not finished planting
the yams.
Oh, wow. I don't need rain now. I wanted the rain to come after I finished planting. Life of a farmer, you cannot stop the rain. So I started telling myself, like, this rain is blessing, it's watering the ground, it won't stall our process in one way or the other, and changing what I'm thinking and trying to use that to change how I'm feeling. But yesterday I spoke on my Money Monday about being grateful, and I said that many Nigerians are actively confessing and asserting that the Nigerian naira, that is your currency, is just on a temporary low. That's very soon you start buying dollar for 1,000, 2,000 naira. I said, why are you so happily predicting negativity? And you are saying it over and over again, like you are not a stakeholder in the game. Like if things go bad, it will not affect you. Please, let's be grateful for the progress that we've seen, even if we doubt how the progress came about. Don't be one of those that will be saying, there is nothing deep there. It's not going to work. Please, I'm begging you, because if it works for all of us. And if it fails for all of, well, I will not fail. I'm fine. I will not put that word
I heard
there.
that this woman was the first ladies of Osun State trendy yesterday.
What did she do?
Dragging position.
Dragging position now. So I'm expecting the main first lady to come to their stage. So both first ladies now put our poster. The first lady is welcoming. Wait, which first lady?
Who is the real first lady?
Who is the real person?
I was just laughing when that thing was going. You need to the post. You don't go on social media again. I'm terrible with social media, but
as it has become worse in recent times.
It's just funny, but
We'll find time to talk about
I
it.
think both should receive her. There's nothing wrong in having two wives.
Please.
Well, the first wife is the rightful one. Yes. The first wife.
Yes.
There are two wives,
Yes.
and they were dragging which is the first lady that will welcome.
I think it's the man that will say who is the first lady.
Yes,
Who
he's
the
the
first
one
lady
that
should
has
be.
the right.
Should be. They
No, two of them
both earned
cannot
it.
Will they host
Let's
together?
go on a break. We'll talk about it maybe later, maybe on our hot topics. But anyway, we have a major hot topic that is hotter, but in that way, we'll see. Let's go on a short break. When we come back, look at the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Abdul Salami, Jonathan, others, OK, State Police, IG differs. Gains of IMF, World Bank meetings by Finance Ministry. Government to sell Abuja, Ibadan, Benin, Kaduna, Kano discos. Rivers Assembly overrides Fubara, passes local government amendment bill into law. Fugitive Binance chief Anjawala to be deported from Kenya. President leaves for Netherlands and Saudi Arabia. Illegal foreign funds mining fueling terrorism, says Tinubu. Nigeria should ignore downgrading of status by IMF, says UK envoy. Okay, which story?
Okay, let me start with government to sell Abuja, Ibadan, Benin, Kaduna discos. So the federal government yesterday vowed to sell off 5 electricity distribution companies, discos, as the blackouts persist across the country. They said a $200 million non-performing metering contract awarded since 2021 has been revoked by the federal government. The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, said the banks and the asset management company, which is AMCON, which have been managing these discos, have taken over because of the failure of the management to repay loans and the fact that they lack the technical capacity as well. So the sale to the reputable technical power operators is expected to be completed within 3 months. And they said that those affected are the Abuja Electricity Disco. The other ones are, okay, the Abuja Electricity Disco is under the management of the United Bank of Africa, that's UBA, the Benin Electricity Disco Company, Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company, Kano Disco Company, which has been managed by Fidelity Bank, Ibadan Disco, which is also under AMCON management. And they said that investors hold 60% of shares in the discos. The federal government holds the remaining 40%. And because of the fact that blackout has persisted in most states, it seems that the discos have been blaming low allocation and gas shortages to generating companies as the causes, that's causing the blackout. And consumers are lamenting about the epileptic power supply and the situation that has worsened. And so they are saying they are going to be selling this off. And also they said that they also need to sell it because they want AMCON and the banks have not really been managing it properly. They now want experts to handle it, technical experts who understand the know-how to handle it. And so they are going to be selling this in a few months' time.
Okay, let me take the major story. So yesterday, the support for state police gained a bit of momentum as the former president and leaders of our country put their weight behind it. So Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan and General Abdul Salami Abuga also said that they believe that we need the state policing. They suggested that issues such as integration into the national security architecture and operations must be adequately addressed. Senate President Godswill Akpabio also supported the proposed policing model, gave reasons why it should start now. However, the Inspector General of Police himself, Kayode Egbetokun, differed with them. He said Nigeria was not ripe for state police. Others were speaking at a one-day dialogue on policing in Nigeria, and the president was represented by the vice president, and the theme was Pathways to Peace, reimaging the policing in Nigeria. And specifically, the president didn't really give any direct indication of where his leanings are, but he's listening to everybody, all the various, according to the report, about 16 northern states have already indicated their support for this new policing system. So we'll see what is finally agreed on, but many states that initially were not totally in agreement with policing, state policing, have begun to agree, and we'll see how that goes.
I was really sold out for state policing until we had that senator that was defending the fact that we should empower the Rangers, the NSCDC, that we already have those ones. We should empower them and they are able to do the work. So anyway, let me take the fleeing Binance. So the Binance story broke. A lot of Nigerians felt a bit worried that how can we let this Binance boss escape? But it was in the spirit of Ramadan. He was fasting. He wanted to go and do his prayers. When he left, they took him to do his prayers. From praying,
He disappeared.
He jackpot. He disappeared using his Kenyan passport to leave Nigeria. Thankfully, the Interpol was able to trace him in Kenya, and because of our diplomatic relationships with Kenya, they said they would be bringing him back. So he's going to be facing the law, the offense of what he did, tax evasion and money laundering himself, and Gambarian. They've confirmed that he's been arrested in Kenya, and we're waiting for him in Nigeria.
We won't applaud the Nigerian police now.
That's what I'm excited to say. It's our Nigerian
tried. They have tried.
All join. We applaud the Nigerian police.
That kind of story doesn't go viral.
Yeah.
How you doing, Ramatu?
I'm fine. Okay, so I'm taking the story on Tinubu off to the Netherlands. President Bola Tinubu will today embark on an official visit to the Kingdom of the Netherlands for a high-level discussion with Prime Minister Mark Rutte. So they're saying that this meeting is about Nigeria and Dutch Business and Investment Forum, and he's going to be having a separate meetings with the King William Alexander, and Queen Maxima, the United Nations Secretary Generals, on how they can explore opportunities.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
For collaboration and partnerships between Nigerian and the Dutch business, particularly in agriculture and water management. And then after then, he's going to move to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where he'll be meeting with 1,000 leaders, where they will talk about global collaboration, growth, and energy.
Okay. All right, let me go.
And energy for the development. We'll bring together over 1,000 leaders from business, government, and academia.
Okay, let me go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with the review. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome to Pure Entertainment. What would you like to order from our menu today? We have the regular.
So let me go and look for my jam results.
My 20 was 320. I suppose don't be one medical.
At this point, I contest my jam results.
I want to close the show.
I can go. I can.
That's all we can take. Eje, can you close the show, you for that long?
Ladies and gentlemen, #1 unavailable by Davido featuring Musa Keys.
We also have today's chef special.
Yo, shine, 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 shiny, yeah. So recap done, and it's time for #1 on the countdown. One of Nigeria's hottest artists right now, his name is Rema, and this one is called Charm. Kick it.
Another.
For dessert and a bit of nightcap, we have the nighttime and online specials.
I want to start the gym, yeah? But do you know one thing that's actually keeping me back?
You should start the gym to get getting fat.
Cricket.
She says she does pole dancing to empower women.
What's the difference?
There's a difference.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So pole dancer, you're already almost naked. You're already almost naked.
No, the empowerment for me.
Sex can make your relationship better.
No. Sex can never be overrated.
It is needed.
Especially when it's good sex too. Almost every guy has been with somebody's girlfriend.
But they are for all of us now.
That's why you're still single.
I would not agree or disagree with that because I don't want to get into trouble. I have a home to go to.
Your next question.
Oh, you ready to fail?
Who is the person you see us? What is his name?
That woman.
Bam! Bam!
Yeah, today we'll go here.
Hey!
Let's catch up now.
And John, we've been able to satisfy your cravings, yeah? Stay good. TVC Entertainment with pure entertainment.
Facility to bring stories that cut across all spectrums.
A greater Lagos shall be ours.
We tell you stories that define our collective well-being as Lagosians. I'm Adedoja Salamadini. I live in Lagos, inside Lagos.
Maya Angelou was a civil rights activist, poet, and award-winning author known for her acclaimed 1969 memoir, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, and her numerous poetry and essay collections. Angelou was born on April 4, 1928 in St. Louis, Missouri. Angelou had a difficult childhood. Her parents split up when she was very young. Around the 1960s, Angelou lived in Ghana working as an editor and a freelance writer. Angelou also held a position at the University of Ghana for a time before she joined a community of revolutionist returnees exploring Pan-Africanism and became close with human rights activist and black nationalist leader Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. In 1961, Angelou appeared in an off-Broadway production of Jean Gennett's The Blacks with James L. Jones, Lou Gossett Jr. and Cicely Tyson, and went on to earn a Tony Award nomination for her role in the play Look Away, 1973, and an Emmy Award nomination for her work on the television miniseries Roots, 1977, among
Okay, thanks for staying with us. Moving on now to Punch. Chinese operator risks sanctions as FG shuts Abuja supermarket. 5 children die in abandoned car in Niger. Delta diverts Lagos flights to Lome after passenger's death and thunderstorm. Aidatiwa, aggrieved Odo aspirants petition APC demand primary cancellation. Naira rebound, rise for 67,000 naira in Lagos, Abuja, and cheaper at the borders. IG warns of governor's excesses as FG insists on state police. FG to unbundle 11 discos, orders sale of 4. And Timbu blames illegal mining for terrorism funding. Okay.
The major headline, we took a story yesterday of the supermarket in Abuja that was
had the Alga on our show.
yes. That they were discriminating Nigerians from getting into. So now the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, who the Alga came on the show yesterday, has sealed an Abuja-based Chinese supermarket, that same supermarket, for barring Nigerians and restricting entry to only Chinese nationals. So they said that they had summoned the owner of the supermarket, and they said they will also deploy regulatory tools against her if they find out that she's actually guilty. She's a woman, by the way. I want to find her name, Cindy Liu Bei. And they said, according to the CCTV camera, she had taken her family and had left
already
yesterday by 8:20 something a.m. Yes. So they've sealed up the place. They have summoned her. They are waiting for her to answer that summon. If she doesn't respond to the summon, there's a punishment for that as well, or sanction for that as well. Wow. I like the fact that our government is, listening, and they are trying to do right by Nigerians, because this is our country. We cannot be facing racism outside the country, also be facing racism in our own home as well. So let's see how.
Just carry passport.
I'm telling you,
you can choose.
You just jackpot. So she knew what she was doing.
Yes.
Where is she going? She knew what she was doing.
8 p.m. last night.
When you run your
plate. Please, Nigeria, good news again. I love good news. Following the recent rebound of our cherished naira against the dollar, the price of 50 kilograms of rice has dropped to an average of 67,000 in Lagos, Abuja, Ogun, others from 90,000. When things go up in Nigeria,
they don't calm down.
You don't see, they will not go viral. Okay, in communities close to borders, it's even way cheaper, like 49,000 naira.
Wow.
So, for example, in Ogun border communities like Imeko, Idiroko, Oja Odon, and others, it's about 49,000. According to Ms. Maya Watosho, a bag of rice now sells for 42,000 at Shaki border in Oyo State. The correspondent on this paper gathered that the prices of foreign parboiled rice had even dropped more than those of some of the local rice we have. So we're happy that we are seeing some of the efforts and the implementation of the strengthening of our naira. And hopefully more things go doing, not just the rice. I'm hoping bread can come down, because I can't wait to buy bread 1,000 naira. I'm buying bread.
I buy 1.7. Where do you buy 1.5?
No, not 1.5. I can't wait to come down.
Okay.
To buy at
1,000.
Okay.
700. Now it's like now it's 1.5.
I buy 1.7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. Story, punch.
So I have a sad story about three children of the same parents and two others whose ages ranged from 5 to 10 years died in an abandoned Honda Civic with registration number GO778 ABC in Niger State, following suffocation after they locked themselves inside the car for hours. They said an eyewitness saw them when they were playing, and he actually saw them when they entered the car, and then they locked themselves up. The guy tried to open the car, because the car had been abandoned for 2 years. The guy tried to open the door, but he couldn't, and then he left them.
I could not break the windscreen.
He didn't do anything. That's just the saddest part of the story. He left them, and then they now died, of course. 3 of them from same mother.
Oh my God.
2 from different.
Because who is the guy that saw them?
His name is Bala Usman.
We need to take ownership more.
Yeah, so the police have gone to find out.
I don't know. When some deaths happen, you think
just break the
very
door.
avoidable.
Break the
very
windscreen.
Avoidable.
Let air get in.
I want to take the story about the president. The President Tinubu was speaking. According to him, terrorism is being largely funded by illegal mining. He was speaking at this conference. It's the African High-Level Meeting on Counter-Terrorism. And the theme of the meeting was strengthening regional cooperation and institution building to address evolving threats of terrorism. It was organized by the Office of the National Security Advisor and the UN Office of Counterterrorism. And he spoke that there's no way we can avoid the correlation between illegal mining and insecurity, that many and the international community needs to step up, because it is not the African money that is used to fund illegal mining. Most illegal mining are being funded by international funding. They bring in the money to mine. Money that should be used to profit the people is now going into paying for weapons and now going to pay for weapons and causing mayhem. A lot of kidnapping that takes place. Billions upon billions naira that legitimately should come to the government to sculpt and build the government isn't coming in. So he is knocking on the door of the international communities to support the fight against illegal mining within Nigeria. And he said that there should be, there's a regional intelligence fusion unit, which is supposed to come together so that it's, because sometimes they don't even, they go from Nigeria to Niger or from Nigeria to Cameroon. And so if all of us as a region were working together, we can better protect ourselves.
Daily Sun, very quickly, Tinubu keeps open mind as Jonathan backs state police. Obi raises concerns over Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project. Headsmen kill 3 in renewed attack in Benue. Bayelsa Guba, tribunal reserves judgment in Sylvia's petition against Diri. Edo Guba INEC flipped ban on political campaigns, warns parties against malicious hate speeches. External funding of illegal mining fuels terrorism, says federal government. Government to peg entry age into tertiary institutions at 18. An article harps on integrity of government institutions. Okay, which story are we starting with?
I have the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, LP, and the former governor of Anambra State, Mr. Peter Obi, who has expressed the concerns about the cost of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project. He said he understands that there will be potential benefits, but he was asking the question concerning the timing and prioritization of such a monumental venture. He said the government should first of all focus on completing the countless abandoned road projects across the country before embarking on something that is going to be huge. And this project the government is planning to embark on will be taking next to 20 or 30 years, while we still have a lot of abandoned roads and abandoned projects within the country, which would affect our economy positively directly if we focus on that. Also, I think the ex-vice president, that's Atiku, also spoke about it, and he said, I want to get what he said here. He had complained about it as well, saying that this is not what Nigeria should prioritize at the moment, and the fact that it seems like it's an old project that they want to siphon money into. That they had mentioned they wanted to use about 15 trillion, but they've not given details to the extent of and the exact figure that they need for this coastal project. They've been asking questions, let us have the details. It just seems like a ploy for this administration to eat money and say that they are doing a project. But the overall is that we have bad roads within the country that should be focused on first before we start thinking of a project that as big as that will take us 20 to 30 years to do.
So still an article, Vice President, former Vice President has said that the interests of citizens will be better served if there is premium on enhancing integrity of the institutions of government. He stated this yesterday during his visit to the senator representing Bauchi Central, Abdul Ningi, at his residence in Abuja. If you recall, Ningi was suspended by the Senate over his comments alleged irregularities in the 2024 Appropriation Act, if you recall. So the former Vice President was saying that the integrity of public institutions, especially such as the National Assembly, is a mirror to how the interests of the masses are preserved and protected in democracy. He said this agitation did not start just recently. It started during the military era, and it is essential public institutions, especially the National Assembly, do not become a tool in the hands of oppressive governments. Okay, another story in some. Let's move on now to Vanguard. IGP kicks as ex-president orders back state police. Coastal superhighway project misplaced priorities, says Obi. Terrorism is evil, must be banished in Africa, says Tinubu. How gunmen killed Babcock varsity lecturer abducted 2 in Ogun. Court vacates order suspending Ganduje. And Okwama, it will help. We are dying in forest. Displaced residents cry to the governor. Okay, which story in Vanguard? I was going to take a lecturer with the Babcock University. Professor Yinka Olowojobi has been shot dead at the relaxation center in Ikperu. The development was confirmed by the spokesman of the Ogun State Police Command in Omolola, Odutola. According to Odutola, in the statement, Olowojobi was among 3 persons shot by gunmen who invaded Ajade Event Center in Shagamu, Ikperu, last Friday. The lecturer was taken to Babcock University Teaching Hospital where he was pronounced dead. According to her, no fewer than 8 men dressed in black and armed with guns emerged from an unknown place, stormed the relaxing center, and opened fire indiscriminately. Olowojobi was said to have been shot on the chest for refusing to go away with them, while the manager of the car stand, simply identified as Dare, was abducted by the armed men. Really was one of those sad. Really sad.
Let me quickly take the drama in Rivers State. So, of course, we know that there is a Camp Wike, which is the state assembly, and Camp Governor, and in between that, they vetoed for the 6th time. The latest veto is the 6th time that the House of Assembly is going against what the governor wants or what the governor pushes to the State House of Assembly. In this case, it is about the fact that the local government chairman's term would expire by June, which is the end of their 3-year tenure, and his desire is that there's an election immediately and a new set of people are brought in. But a new law has been passed by the State Assembly, which the governor did not attest to. he declines to sign it, but the new law allows the extension of time for the local government. In between all of this, I'm still waiting for Rivers people to choose their side and speak up for what they believe will bring them good governance.
See now, welcome. This is Nigerian Tribune.
How many people are welcoming?
There's only one first lady here.
Yeah, that's
and
how
then,
it should be.
This is second wife.
Yeah.
First wife.
I'm sure he...
First wife. Okay. So the respect first wife. Anyways, no problem. We'll take it. Nigerian Tribune. I'm not sure we have time to take this story. Let's find the story.
Yeah, you're just looking for trouble.
I'm just looking for trouble. Nigerian Tribune. Let's find the story. Not taking. FG may adopt 18 years as university entry. I think it's a good hot topic.
Yes.
Let's save it. Let's go on a break now. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, move on to our next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back. Since I got my itel S24, I've grown closer to the smaller things that make me happy. Flowers look better.
This is 7 of 7, and signing a severity into my hands tonight on this social experiment called the 7 of 7. It's Owen G. What is the name, or what was the name? You see, I want to make them better now.
Rockheart.
No, of the goat when they brought it on stage.
The name of that goat.
Yeah.
We should go there.
No, that one easy now.
I'm just drinking this so that I can ask him my own questions. It's not because of
Buga.
He didn't get it. You know. Okay. Mention 10 female stand-up comedians in Nigeria. See, just mention their stage name. If you annoy me, you will mention their real names and the year they started. And if you annoy me further, you mention the names of their husbands and the names of their children. Try me now. Okay, mention their name.
No, let's just...
No, wait. No, don't, no. Name, real name, stage name, husband name, children name. 10 of them.
Even the 10. That's a lot.
Eh?
That's a lot.
Did I cut your question for you?
Yes.
When you were happy now. With your hunchback.
That was it.
You are wasting time. We don't have time. See, my brother, before we go on a commercial break, you are stubborn. And I told you since. The fact that you play this your hair does not mean, you understand? See this bad hair you are looking at. It's experience. I've suffered before you.
But I try now.
When you there during the military era of Abuja and Babangida, you know what happened?
I be Gen Z.
So that Gen Z, I will remove 4 out of 10.
That's like
4 out of 10 the passes. Don't drink this thing. Where baby you are on here? Drink out. If I land you.
Have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table. So, have you ever wondered
Thanks for staying with us. So there's been outrage over the demand for justice for a female student of the lead British international school, Abuja. According to an ex-user at Muhi, she says she's demanding justice for one of the classmates who was bullied. According to her, in an SOS post on Monday night, accompanied by 2 videos, she stated she needed the message to go viral so that they can get justice for the young girl. I'll try not to mention the girl's name here, but there's a video that shows her colleagues, like the video is on right now, where she was being slapped multiple times. Somebody actually went to the trouble to count how many slaps. There's about 20 slaps, one pushing, and quite a bit of harassment that the young girl had to undergo. Obviously, many Nigerians have been outraged over this update, and this has become a cause for concern because many parents have children in very expensive schools, and they think that they have all the facilities and all the extra measures to reduce these kinds of things. But unfortunately, we find that most of these schools are not even safe. But good thing is that we do have a response from the school. They had sent a press release, which we have here. And specifically, let me read a bit of their excerpts from the press release from the school. They were saying they acknowledged that they are quite saddened by the, according to, let me just get this very quickly. Technology. Okay, so pretty much, according to this report, it says that we are committed, we are deeply saddened and concerned by the recent incident of bullying that has come to light and want to assure the school community and the public that we are taking this matter very seriously. Furthermore, they have also said that they are committed to providing a safe, supportive learning environment, and they've already implemented some measures to provide counseling, psychotherapy for the children involved and the parents. They called them, invited them over, and they are also doing quite a bit of meetings to see the right disciplinary action to be taken subsequently. However, they're committed to this, and they're going to ensure that this is a measure they take very seriously. That is from the school, and that's just me summarizing a bit of the excerpts. But the truth is, bullying, no school wants to go through this, and no child wants to go through this. What are your thoughts when you saw this video of this young girl that was harassed by her mates? Missy, let me start with you.
Oh, it just took me back to old times, and I remembered I had collected this sort of beating in secondary school at the time. Yes.
You of all people.
Because I wasn't always this fighter. Yeah. No, not about confidence. I wasn't always this fighter. It was life that made me this way. You know, I was always this. In fact, if you ask my father till today, he will tell you this is very quiet, this is calm, this is reserved. That was what I was, growing up. But then I was bullied so bad in school, bullied for being tall, for being thin, for being dark, bullying for, wanting to stay in front of the class because I wasn't seeing the board. Because of our heights, they always put us at the back. But then I don't see the board, and I would tell the teachers that I want to come to the front. My girls would beat me up for daring to block them in front. I was bullied for practically almost everything till I decided to start fighting back, and that was when they left me alone. But I could imagine the damage that will be going through that child's mind at the moment. And I've done some studies on bullying because I was a child psychologist for a bit while I was teaching in the classroom. And I know the after effects of bullying. It follows you to adulthood if care is not taken. And it's the major causes of some suicide, depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, a lot. Myriad of issues come out of, being bullied in school. And I'm wondering, how did these students get to this point where they could do this? There was no supervisor around. There was no teacher parading the ground to even spot that there's noise somewhere. Let me even check out what is happening. While I could excuse my school at the time, it was a large public school. We used to be over 100 and something in each class, and then we had very few teachers, so not all their eyes could, see what was going on. But this is a private school, and one of the reasons I know that parents want to send their children to private schools is because they want to avoid some of these things that we felt or we received in, public schools at the time we're growing up. And then the schools would always have somebody, a guide, a check, who just moves around to be sure that something's happening. And they had time to give this girl. I saw another video where they pounced on her. There were many. She was receiving jabs and blows from different angles, and no teacher, no supervisor heard anything till this moment. The school should not come with that excuse that they are giving me, that they are committed to, you know, a bully-free environment and all of that. Somebody should have spotted this. And for it to go on this long, this is definitely not the first case. It just happened to come out, and the school has to be liable for this.
Okay, let me come to you, Ramatu. What are your thoughts on this?
So, anytime I hear stories like this, I get so worried, you know. Sometimes I even go as far as picking up the phone to call my kids, because they're in boarding school as well. So I'll start thinking that what's going on? I start asking them, is anybody bullying you? Is anybody saying this to you? And all. There was a time my daughter came back from school, and she told me about, you know, there was this girl that they were bullying in school. Her own was, and her notes. Somebody would just get up and tear her notes or pour water on her bed, all those things. And I asked her, I said, how did you guys handle it? They were now looking for the person that was doing that. But that one, he didn't come out openly to confront her or to do anything to her. All she was just doing was from behind and doing all of these things. I think that bullying comes from a bitter place from the home. Yeah. Parents, we need to do more. We are bringing up kids when they go to school, when they meet other people, and at the same time, sometimes when they go, they can't, maybe they feel they are competing with their mates. So in a bid to shut them down or bring them down, they think they have to come up with ways by bullying, by intimidating their mates so that they can be heard, or they can feel like, okay, I'm superior to you.
Control.
Yeah. So all these things. Really
let me come to you, Tokwe.
So for me, I also experienced massive bullying in school. It was terrible. And it was for ridiculous reasons. And I believe that it's possible for the school not to be aware of what is going on, because the bullies know how to protect themselves. Yeah. And there are a large group of people that can have people stationed to be sure that nobody is passing by. And the challenge is, if you have successfully been bullied before, even when a teacher comes into the class to say what's going on there, you just keep quiet in most cases. So it is possible for the school not to know. We really need to empower our children to speak up for themselves. I don't even think there was anything my parents could have done. I think maybe it was the school that would have created that environment for me to do something. In my own case, I was bullied for being too tall. I was talking to my senior. This is me in GSS 2. The senior is in GSS 3. And they said I should kneel down because I'm taller, and they are looking up to see me. That how can I be looking up to talk to you, you that you are my junior? That's how I knelt down. Every time I want to talk to this senior, I must be on my knees to talk to a senior, just because I'm taller than the senior. And these things happen in different ways. The bullies have their insecurities, sometimes over relationship, but the school has a responsibility to create a safe environment for people to report. Anonymously, I can drop a report and say, oh, I'm aware this person was beaten. We must create that environment. Even if I, as a person being bullied, cannot speak up for myself, there must be a system that ensures somebody that sees something can say something to protect the person being bullied. So I'm looking forward. I believe that I'm not completely going to absolve the school of blame, but I'm going to take the news release they have given. Let's now see how they are going to deal with this, address these children that are bullying others.
Many schools have this issue. It's just that theirs is not on social media. Many, because I've had opportunity to speak to different principals, and this is one of those buildings where they hope it never goes out. So no school should act oblivious of the fact that these things, unaware. These things happen in their schools. Yeah. However, when we were growing up, there was this perception of what bullying was, a rites of passage to adulthood, that everybody goes through it. Seniors will bully you, you fetch water, you do this, they'll yab you, they'll slap you, you know, that it was okay because you're in boarding house, you have to accept your seniors. You know, that was the perception we grew up with. But we've tried to change that over the years. That listen, nobody should be subjected to this kind of, I'll call it torture, or this kind of harassment. But when the angle I'm trying to go to is that there are two sides of the argument. We complain that our children today, they are very, the world is, things are easy for them. They have the school system, everything is supporting them, they're caring for them, they're pampering them, giving them food. They don't have to worry about anything that we used to worry about. We, on the other hand, didn't have that. And people are worried that our children today didn't have that kind of intense background that we had. In this conversation, do you think some of this is part of what, I don't know, I'm trying to find the right way to
I get where you want to go to.
Yeah, but I don't want to land it in the wrong way.
Okay, so that we don't come on.
Not
We went through it. Yes. You're feeling like maybe we're over-pampering these children. We're thinking that they have the.
But I don't want to I don't want to legitimize what they did.
Bullying.
But these things happen in schools where somebody will harass you, and it's not bullying, but it's just harassment. It's
so
just
let me help you here.
Yes, help me.
You were shocked when I said I was bullied in school. Why? Why were you shocked?
That you are.
I thought because your confidence came from.
Yes. Okay, so you see sometimes I speak here. Yes, I speak here, and I'm not shouting. No, in my head I'm not shouting, but people would interpret it that she's aggressive. Every day on this show, they accuse me of being aggressive. Where do you think that came from? That came from me struggling to be heard. And I have to stamp my feet. I now have to tell myself that nobody's fighting you. You can also make your points, quietly. Right. But this has been so ingrained in my subconscious that once the topic hits a certain nerve, I am going. It's when I get home and I'm watching, I'm like, oh, you should have calmed down now. You were making sense. Calm down. Mariah was listening. She heard you. Tokwe heard you on the table. Ramatu heard you on the table, right? Where did you think it came from? It was from me trying to speak out after suppression and oppression. And this is the physicality that you can see. You don't know what I went through emotionally. You don't know what I went through psychologically. You don't know what I went through in my mind. You don't know how long it took me to even get to this point. How damaged I was because of some of those experiences. So we think that we are better than, I've said this before, we think we are better than this generation. This younger generation, they have more empathy. This younger generation understands human dynamics better than we did because we're more aggressive. If anything happens on the road, somebody bashes your car a little, you see two grown human beings coming out to throw punch. You see them spitting on each other. You see them using words on each other. We're not very nice people. And that's because we came from a very tough place in the name of training. We have to make you strong. Strong for what? What are we fighting?
Okay, let me take this call from Atat. It's been holding for a minute. Good morning, Atat. You're live.
Good morning, Mariah. Good morning, ladies of you. You guys are always amazing in the morning.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Okay, so firstly, thank you so much for that stand that the school might not have known what is happening. I think firstly, bullying issue is something that starts from home. And parents need to look at it critically. If you have two kids at home, you will see one of your child is always bullying the other child. You know some of your brothers or sisters that have bullied you in one point of their life. So I mean, we're looking at, some people say, oh, the school should have known, you should have created an environment. First, I think we need to have conversations with our kids on the different shades of bullying, at what point they should start taking and being bullied at, and what are the steps they need to take. If this is a boarding school, I'm sure in boarding schools you have you have times you can call home. Did this child call home, and did the child tell the home that this is what is going at home, and what did the parents do? So at the end of the day, it falls back on us. If we don't train our kids to know when to identify issues, then at the end of the day, they'll get bullied and nothing about it. Because again, like Obiadulo has said, she might be talking loud and the next kids will take it as I'm being bullied. Another thing is we usually judge from a small clips on social media. We don't know the full story. Let's play the devil's advocate. This person that you think is being bullied might have even been the main bully. And this is just a small part of the story that is being painted and we're talking about, because it has happened to me. I've been in a scenario where somebody has always been finding, as in the guy is always on me. The day in school I mistakenly responded. It is that particular response that made me, it's me that is the bad person. But people forgot that this is the only one time I stood up to my own bully. So that's my take. Thank you so much.
So now let's also talk about the inaction of the victim. I mean, for me, it was two badly raised children. The beating, the perpetrator, and the victim. Because one, obviously, you can start from the slap. The slap is so... the slap was very orchestrated. The kind of slap that is very, very...
demeaning.
There was a
demeaning.
There was a different video.
Yeah.
The slap was, she stretched out her hand. It was almost a kind of slap that you learned from your father. That was very, very intentional slapping. Not the kind of slap I just slap people because he's intentional. I directed it at you. That's one. Then secondly, even the victim, the way she for me, it comes across it's not, this is not humility. This is not somebody being humble. For me, or from what I'm seeing, it looks like somebody who also has issues at home. Maybe she's not raised with confidence. She's not raised with loving herself. That she feels she's already a victim from the house. This is somebody that looks like I'm already. They don't like me at home. They don't like me in school. I'm your what's the word? I'm your specimen to beat up in any way. So that's what I'm reading from that girl that I'm just saying. So there's a lot to deduce from this action that we're seeing. Let me come to you, Tokwe.
So I know typically we tend to, when something we don't expect happens, they say is flight, fight, freeze.
Or fun.
In some cases, you might freeze.
Yeah.
Like you would think that, like in our mind, she's just wondering, like, how did I get myself here? We don't know the drama that happened. We don't know what led to this. We know this that we're talking about is bad, but it might be a freeze situation. Some are brought up to fight. Some, they will just find a way to run. And some will just stay there like, what's going on here? They're wondering, fight now. You're not saying anything. The person has left the body. She's just sitting, she's looking from a different perspective and wondering, what am I? She has stepped out of that space. And many people go through that when they are dealing with an emotionally abusive relationship. You think you should know better, but they are not in that relationship anymore. They have found an escape. They've checked out. They're not there. So I look at her and I feel, yes, the school said the right thing in that will provide psychological help, because trauma is, this is trauma. This is trauma that can play out in many other areas as that child grows up if she's not brought to deal with the situation. One. On the other side is the fact that the person that is beating, I love when you said that she's seen it before. You don't beat like that. You would have seen, there's somebody that has done that to you, or you've seen how it is being done. And it is a demeaning beating. She was just slapping the face from side to like, and like you will know that is, I want to make you feel useless and worthless. And those things have effect. Let's be grateful for physical abuse. Emotional abuse is worse. And all of these things should be addressed. When we talk about it on the show, it's just very heartbreaking. I want all parents to go back and talk to their children and find out, like Ramatu said, you will ask your daughters, you ask your sons, are you sure you are not being bullied? If anybody bullies you, please let me know. I'm not going to go and, we're not fighting, but create an environment where your children are free to discuss these things with you, because they might think they are alone and they don't want your reaction, or they are scared that if you step in, it will lead to more. In my own case, when I was being bullied, I felt like if I reported the situation, it would lead to me getting more bullied in that situation.
Let me take this call. I'll come to you, Ramatu. Good morning. You're live.
Good morning, ma'am.
Go ahead, please.
My name is David Chiak. I'm calling from Outrage.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
We all face this. When I left Edo State to Lagos State, I was in primary 6. So when I got to Lagos State, I have to go back to primary 3. So I was a little bit taller than my classmates. So nobody ever bullied me. But when I got to secondary school, I remember there in Bagada, this Bariga Comprehensive High School. Wow, there was this guy from Bariga. I heard he was later killed by maybe robbery something. The guy was always bullying me, and to some extent I was tired of going to school, because I saw this guy fighting a teacher. So somebody who has the guts to fight a teacher, how are you going to start? Who are you going to complain to? So we have to stop this because it's really, really, really bad. Good morning.
Ramatu, you're going to say something.
Okay, yeah. So because watching the story, I began to ask myself, what about the other kids that were around while this was happening? Are you trying to tell me that none of them could stand up and run and go and get a teacher or somebody and come and see what's happening and all? Because there was a boy there, he was sitting down there and he was watching everything that was going on. Why couldn't he stand up, maybe hold the girl and
kids? I mean, we all, children will be children. They will. This is a show. This girl, this bully, she's flapping out. You see how they beat her, you know. The kids will always want to just spectate and just watch and just enjoy the whole thing. But as you said, we should actually encourage children to report such actions. But another angle that has been brought to my attention is the fact that, according to the ex-user, this school, according to also many social media posts, saying that this school is quite notorious, but this is not the first time. According to some of the videos, now we can't verify if these videos are from the same school as a similar school, but according to media users, social media users here, they're saying that this is not the first time. There's so many reports from this same lead British international school there have been reports of this, and that means FCT should get involved.
Yeah.
The government of that, or in that state, in the FCT should
I saw one of such videos too, I think on Nairaland. It was an account from a student from the school who said he's been reporting to the parents, and they've they kept saying this can't happen till a time that he was able to show them a video, and they now believed, and they realized that also they've been giving just very little punishment for people that have been caught. You go and do this chore, do that, suspension for 2 days and all of that. And so students have the impetus. And sometimes, according to this guy, was saying that sometimes the parents come and pay and there's nothing they can do. When you want to challenge the teacher that, why is this person getting just this little punishment? You are suspended yourself and all of that. So we can't verify that. But I wanted to say something very important. Based on the question you asked initially. So why is the victim just sitting there and not doing anything? A victim is a person who has come to feel helpless and passive in the face of misfortune or ill treatment. When you are a victim, you could be coming from a very loving home where all you hear is praises about your looks, your brain and everything. Your parents hug you and cherish you. And then you are put into an environment where people bully you. You may not even know how to respond. The fear the bully puts in you is that if you report, this is going to be worse. And that also brings me back to the school, saying that they cannot tell me they are not aware. Because if you are not aware, that means you're not doing as much as you should. You must have, especially when it comes to boarding house, house masters who parade. They are not the real house masters, but there are others who, they just walk past, they check the rooms, they check what's happening. They parade from time to time. Somebody on YouTube also said, even in their school, which was a public school at the time, they had house masters that parade. So you may be doing anything, you don't know that they are going to come and just meet you. So if you don't have that as a school that has a boarding house, that means you're not doing well for that school. And you should put that in place. You cannot say you are not aware that this is happening. That's on one side.
One second, let me pause you for a second. Let me take a call. Pause, be holding. Good morning, Paul, you're live. Hello, Paul.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so I'm talking, my reaction in respect of bullying is that parents should teach their kids how to fight back whenever they are being bullied. Can you hear me?
Very clearly. Go ahead, please.
So parents should learn to teach their kids how to fight back when they are being bullied, right? Tell them constantly. It has to be deliberate because some people bully by nature. Some are gentle, and the truth of the matter is life as it is. You don't have to sit back for this. So just the way you constantly do things to achieve success, you have to constantly fight for yourself. That is my opinion about it. Constantly fight for yourself. Because if you decide to chill and relax and be bullied, you might forever remain bullied. Even in the workplace, people bully. Organizations, people bully. But this attitude starts from childhood to school to the university. So parents should constantly talk to their kids.
Thank you very much, Paul.
To fight back.
Let me pose that question to you because that was going where I was going to. Because some children, I was raised to be a good girl. If I was in that girl's shoe, I'd probably done exactly the same thing. I wouldn't fight. I'll just sit still. Not because, maybe I won't say I would freeze, but I would just think I'm better off just not fighting. Let them just do what they want to do and go. I think to soon finish. This too shall pass. I'll be telling myself this too shall pass. Right in my mind. So some of us are raised, and again, I will also say that I had a background where I was very shielded. And I didn't have a lot of external exposure until I left my cocoon and saw the world out there. And then I faced verbal, I didn't face physical bullying. And maybe that I did, I can't remember because thank God for my accident. Plenty memories have disappeared. I'm grateful to God for that. But the ones I do remember are the emotional and the verbal abuse that stayed with me for years. So for someone, based on what he said, that teach your child to fight back. Now, as a modern parent, you're thinking, 1 second, I'm trying to raise you to be kind, to be courteous, to be civil. That's the word. Now, I should also be raising you to be a fighter, to be aggressive, to lash back. Where do I find a middle ground as a parent?
So I think we all need to tell ourselves the truth. The world can be a wicked place, and we are not going to push out our children into the streets as doves and not give them the ability to be serpents as well. We must balance, we must give them the two. But the wisdom and strength is your ability to be able to fight and take over, but then you choose not to. Your ability to control yourself is what makes you a smart person and a wise person. So you know when to shine that teeth and you know when to take it back. Because when I started fighting back as a child that was bullied, all the bullies suddenly disappeared. Because now I could fight back. They left. They were not even as powerful as I thought they were. They were just hanging on the thread that I was weak and I couldn't stand up for myself. And the bullying went on for so long. So why do I want to push my child into the world to collect the bullying till they decide to change? What if they never change? I would teach you to be, in fact, we should all enroll our children in karate class.
What your child is thinking, BC, is that she's losing her friends. She's losing her best friend because these are her friends. This is a clique.
No.
She's like, I don't want to be in that. I don't want to be in that clique.
Let me tell you.
That's how the child thinks.
Let me tell you. My son went, the former boarding school that he went to, he was bullied. But he kept on going back to the same set of friends. Why? Because he wanted to belong. I sat him down. I said, any friend who looks at you and does this to you is an enemy. He said, Mommy, I said, yes. At this age, you must be able to decipher your friends from your enemy. And I told them attributes of a friend. A friend is someone who has your back. A friend is someone who is loyal to you. A friend is someone who does not put you in trouble. A friend is someone who speaks up for you. So even those people, because in abuse, there's the abuser, there's the victim, and then there are the eyewitnesses. 3 of them need psychological therapy because 3 of them are damaged. The person who watches an abuser is damaged already by just, seeing that, observing that, all right? So I say you cannot say this person is my friend and then the person pushes you into trouble. They did something in school and it was the person that was pushing him. And he says, my friend. I say, if I hear my friend again in this house, you see what I'll do to you. He is not your friend. Candidly, find friends that help you. Find friends that nurture your gifts. Find friends that drag you for practice, that drag you for sports, that take you to read your books. Those are friends. So we need to define what friendship means. And from very early, teach our children to identify the friendships that work for them. I just want to be friends. You now stay with people that will be putting you inside a hole. No.
Let me take this call. Come. Good morning, David. You're live.
Good morning, ma. How are you?
Very good. Go ahead, please.
Please, I just want to contribute to this topic on that. Please, it's not everyone that have the courage to fight back. Some people are naturally gentle. Not that they enjoy what is happening to them, but they can't just stand against it. What I can only say is let's just raise our children in a way to trust so that they can always come back to us in whatever they face outside. Let them just report the case to us, then we can know what to do. Because not everyone that have the courage, there is no matter of nothing you can tell them to do. That fight back, they don't just have the power to do so. Because some people are just naturally gentle.
All right. Thank you very much, DB. You're going to say something.
For me, I tell my children to fight back. If you do something wrong to them, you hit them, I tell them, hit back. Honestly speaking, because the way we're raising our kids these days is just different. It's not like the way our mothers raised us. Me, when I was little, if I go out to fight, if I fight, when I come back, my mom will beat me. Why? For fighting. Number 2, she will ask, who beat who? Who beat who? Then maybe if I say, the person beat me, maybe the first time I was beating myself, I'll say, the person beat me. So you are a fool. She will beat me for doing that. Then she will not ask, your siblings, were they around when they were beating you? Immediately I mentioned that one person was there. That's how she will start. Oh, you were there, you're watching, they're beating your sister, and you didn't
could not defend.
You didn't take part in it. So you see, I tell them, if somebody hits you, he does this to you or do anything, please fight back. That's the only way you can have your own this thing. Because
save yourself.
Yes, because all those things, it's temples with your self-esteem.
Yeah, I totally disagree. I don't ask my children to beat back.
Oh, wow.
I don't ask my children to beat back. I ask them to report because there are situations where in trying to beat back, bigger damages happen. So we must deal with the bully. We shouldn't, in trying to deal with bullying, become bullies. And sometimes in trying to raise that level of, oh, I don't want my children to be ever bullied, you are now raising who themselves might become bullies in other situations. I would rather, I help them to de-escalate the situation. I teach my children to flee and report. Get comfortable with fleeing and report. And maybe that's because even till now, I'm not a fighter. I cannot...
You still flee?
I will still flee and I will report. So this template has worked for me so far. and I would rather empower my children with that. Yes, I understand being wise as a serpent. I understand the spirit of discernment, understanding that this situation is not as it should be, but it's like saying that you find yourself in, even as adults, we get bullied.
Yeah.
Husband bully wife bully husband. The day you want to fight back, you kill the person. I did not mean to kill. He has been bullying me since. So you don't become a bully because you want to deal with a bullish situation. That's why we have systems and authorities. Trust the system, trust the authorities. We take you to court. We do this so that we can ensure that you are protected. Self-defense is flee for me.
All right, let me go on a short break. When we come back, we continue because you used a very important word, de-escalate. Let's define that when we come back. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen, Made Kuti in the view. It's still 7 of 7, and we've been doing a whole lot of protesting. The only thing that's remaining is just to carry placard.
It's about 5 of 7, to be honest. Because, ask your question. I have so much to speak about once we finish.
We'll not give you the time because it's 7 of 7.
I will make the time now. He said he will not ask questions about science.
No.
Neuroplasticity.
And based on...
He asked a question that was subjective about high life. And he did not finalize his answer about a Kuti question where there are only 3 of us.
Editor, scratch this part out.
That could have possibly composed the music.
Editor, scratch this part out.
Stupidity is an act of ignorance.
Hey God, Made.
Was composed by which Kuti?
Femi Kuti.
Is that your final answer?
God, I'm Shion Kuti. No, wait, Femi Kuti.
You said
Femi Kuti. Wait.
You can't be allowed.
No, you've not asked me anything.
Everyone.
You've not asked me anything. So my final answer.
No. All I have to say is this show is really about drinking.
Yeah, that's the whole idea.
The questions don't matter.
That's the whole
Justice
idea.
is out the window.
We throw caution to
we
the
have
wind
no
right
morals here.
On the 7 of 7.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it.
Thank you for staying with us. I have a caller, Engineer Igokwe. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Morel.
Good morning, sir. Good to have you on.
Yeah, God bless you this morning. I remember a case in the University of Lagos 2 years back.
Go ahead. We can hear you.
I said 2 years back, something happened in the University of Lagos.
Yes.
There was a riot, and so many things were destroyed. So there was a panel to look at what happened. And they identified 3 groups among the students. And they said, who were those who did the actual destruction? Who are those who were watching? They followed them, but they were watching as they were destroying things. Number 3 were those who were part of the planning, but they were not in the scene. So they brought all those 3 groups together, and they paid and they paid for all the things they destroyed in the University of Lagos. So there were people there. When that boy was bullying the lady, this young girl, people were there. There were also people that knew about the plan, but they were not there. Let them teach them out and get them punished. Actions carry consequences. Good morning.
There was something that Satokwe said that I thought I'd like to harp on a bit, because when kids go through something, we tell them to report to your teacher to de-escalate the whole situation. And kids find that that move doesn't do anything. Because I report to a teacher, okay, the teacher calls the child, shouts at him a bit, and punishes him, maybe don't go and wash the toilet, and that's it. The child is still in school. And even teachers are frustrated because they've tried to address it. I can't expel this child. He's just 10 years old. He's just 11 years old. I can't expel you because you are being troublesome or you are bullying someone. I'm trying to help you. The kid is not ready to be helped. So kids won't get frustrated and tired of constantly continually reporting the same person. So they rather just, you know what, what's going to happen? They wash it and that's it. Let me just take the bullying. So how do we effectively de-escalate situations like this so that it doesn't progress to the point of this kind of bullying? Because for a kid to be willing to just accept the bullies, because I'm tired, I've reported this girl several times, nobody's listening, I might not just be bullied and pass through this year and graduate from this school and I'm done.
So for me, I think that we need to empower teachers. You know, teachers learn how to teach, but part of the things that you have to deal with as a teacher is the emotional well-being of your children, the students that you are teaching. So I feel strongly that we need to empower teachers to understand how to disarm a bully. We are supposed to have, what do you call them, psychologists, not psychologists, there's a word they use in secondary school. They have like a
guidance and counselor.
Guidance and counselor. A counselor, that's the word. In schools are meant to have counselors. The job of the counselor is to understand where the problem is. Some children come to school and vent because they are being bullied at home. That's their only place. So expecting that just by punishing does not change a bad habit. If a child is a bully, punishing that child will not stop the child from being a bully. The child will still just find another way to hide the bullying tendency and still do it. So the goal is not to just punish, it's not punitive. It is about understanding what the problem is. When you see, we had a guest on the show that came and he's talking about running an NGO. He said he was drinking, and he was always drinking. He went to the US and he continued his drinking habit. He was driving. They didn't just say, oh, you are drinking and driving, we penalize you, we jail you. While he was going through counseling and therapy, they discovered the source of that trauma that is making him act out the way he's acting out. We don't invest enough time. We punish, we slap a punishment, we move on. And we're not dealing with the root cause. So that thing just morphs itself into something else. It changes who is bullied, but the bullying continues. Invest the time into getting a counselor to have a conversation to find out, why is this person behaving like this? You might discover my brother at home is also doing this, or my mom is doing this, or I saw my daddy and my mommy doing this, or you will discover something that will help you truly disarm.
Okay, let me pause you for a second. I have a call and I'll come to you, BC. I think I have Bumi from Ibejuleki. You're live. Thanks for calling.
How are you?
Very well. Go ahead,
please.
Ladies.
Morning. Good talk, all that you have said, but I'm so concerned about the physical well-being of that child. When I say bodily, like Tokwe said, or BC, it doesn't look like that slapper is slapping for the first time. And somebody collects all of that slap all of the time, and you don't know how many or how long this has gone on. Is anybody looking into the health of that child, to the hospital or something, so that before you know it, eardrum is blocked, eardrum or something is busted, maybe they've kicked her here and there, you can never tell. At the end of the day, if anything happens to this child, they will say they do autopsy, God forbid, and they will say it's not traceable to this bullying act. All of this beating every time, how long has this gone on? What's going on in the head physically? Headache, jaw ache, slapping like that, all of those. The parents of this child should go and do some medical tests, because this that we have seen may not just be what it is. Who knows how long this has gone on? Emotional, psychological, yes, all of those things are there. bodily health of this child is important. Before you know it, this child breaks down in one or two sicknesses, and you are saying it's not traceable to bullying. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bumi, for that point. Go ahead.
And I like also how Tokwe started this. You know, your question is how do we de-escalate that this doesn't, get to that point, and everything starts from the home front. So I was taught as a teacher to identify different behaviors from children. So when you teach a child over time, and all of a sudden they start acting up, we start calling the parents. We start asking the question, what's happening at home? Your child is now fighting everybody. Your child is now throwing away his food. Your child is now not coming to class. We start asking. But I don't know if that is still obtainable now. You must, I know, every form tutor, because when these behavioral changes happen, it cuts across. It will happen in the class. Maybe a child who was always quiet will suddenly start disrupting when you're teaching. You will find out the root cause. When did this happen? At what point did this child change? That's one. Unfortunately, most parents, especially for parents who are in very big schools, are flying all around the country. They are big CEOs, and they do not have time to pay attention to their children. My daughter wrote a book last year, Left Alone, by Kosi Sochukwu Ubo, where she addressed one of this. It was a case of, the parents abandoning this child, and then the child started acting up in school. And, we've realized that there was also a research that said when this behavior changes, sometimes it's because the children involved or the students involved are not getting attention. It may not be that their parents are beating them or their parents are fighting each other. There are different angles to this. It may just be that the child has been neglected. He's not heard. He's not spoken to. He's left with the mates who are handling his affairs. There are schools where when these children are going back home, the bus will go to the airport to pick them. Parents don't even have time to send off their children. When they are going from school again, the bus will take them to the airport and they fly back to wherever their parents are. There is no time to even pick your children or drop your children. And such children are being abandoned from the home front. Now, because they are not heard, every human being wants to be loved, wants to be seen, and wants to be heard. Because these children are not heard, especially at the teenagehood, where their emotions are everywhere. They now decide, for those that are strong, maybe their personality type is strong, they now decide to want to have control. They now decide to want to lord it over people. If they don't see me at home, they will see me here. All these things happen at the subconscious level, and they act it out. So parents and the caregivers, hands must be on deck. Teachers should do much more than teaching in the classroom. Like Tokwe just mentioned, you are supposed to be in charge of the emotional well-being of every child in your class. So when you notice some of these things, you now start asking the right questions. And parents should also say the truth when they come to the panel, maybe to face the principal and all of that, to say, okay, I actually have not been having time. I will pay attention. I will follow through. I will do this. If we can get every child to behave like a human being to every other child, to have empathy towards every other child, they will not act out in school and will not have cases of bullying.
I like what you just said, but let me take this call. Dr. Mark from Ekiti, thanks for calling. You're live.
Thank you so
Yes.
much, Brown and the team. Always enjoy your session.
Thank you, sir.
The topic this morning is quite important, and I want to start with the fact that as a human dignity advocate, one of the challenges in the society is character and behavioral bankruptcy, and especially from the home front. There is a major crisis of dysfunction at home, where children are leaving home already confused, to go to school to meet other confused children who are struggling to know what is their real identity, because they didn't get one from home and the society is not giving them one. So the options of bullying, the options of violent behavior becomes one of the cheapest way or escape route for them to live. But I think we should begin to see how to encourage parents, guardians, counselors, teachers to help growing up children to understand that they don't owe any other human being apology for their existence. Because the moment we lose the sense of dignity, then we have a society where animalistic behaviors become celebrated. And secondly, when you over-celebrate bad examples, you already throw away the opportunity to uphold good examples. Such schools should be engaged by governments and existing institutions to know what exactly are the students doing for them to have this time to be bullying other students. What's the activity going on? What are they doing at certain hours of the day? Who is in charge of how? I went to a boarding school, and it's like every day is engaged. You don't.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mark. You're going to say something.
Yeah, so I wanted to come to, we are not used to therapy in Nigeria. I wish we could start, because now the way we are doing our parenting, I think therapy should come in. Those days when we were growing, there was nothing like therapy. But now the way, since we have decided that every small thing we'll talk with our child, instead of using the way we were raised, therapy can come in. And at the same time, we can also, if there's a particular child disturbing, bullying or doing something, we can reach out to the parents as well. Call the parents up, talk to the parents. This is what your child is doing. What do you think? How can we help? How can we make this child better?
Number two, parents are equally sick.
Of your own child?
They are parents who are sick human beings.
Okay, get it.
You are also psychologically damaged. You are not recovering from your own trauma. You are working to help you deal with your own issues. So who needs psychological help? Because what we are seeing is the product of damaged people who raise children who are damaged. So many of us are parents. Yes, we're wearing suits. We are speaking English. We're traveling abroad, going to China, going to London, but we are damaged human beings. Yeah. And we raise these teenagers who are just offshoots of what we do. Yeah. So what that girl was seeing that's been slapped, her parents are doing it, or she's learning from the shit, because she came to this world as an innocent tabula rasa brain. Nothing else. We are the one that are feeling it, also junk. She has no, these are children. I keep looking at these are children. There's no 18-year-old there.
Everything is learned behavior.
They are everything.
Yeah. Everything
so
is learned.
Where did she get it from?
Yeah, she saw it, and she's replicating
exactly.
what she
So
saw.
you are saying therapy. Who are we therapying? Is it the man that has refused to be therapy, or is it the mother, or who are we therapy? Is it the child?
Everybody.
Exactly.
Everybody must
change.
Yes,
everybody must change. So let's just go into therapy.
BBC said something. I support you with getting therapy. We might not be able to totally undo the damage on the parents, but at least we can prevent it from going to the next generation. We can stop the tide of repeating the same thing. But BBC said something about parenting being like the ideal is for the school to be aware. Even the teacher self has responsibility.
Yes.
Even teacher self is stretched. Classroom has 25 children. 25 children are shouting, talking, everything. She has finished teaching. Like, everybody put your head down on the table and keep quiet, because even me, I cannot deal. My husband self gave me his own. My children self gave me their own. So the teachers are dealing with the Nigerian economy. They are buying bag of rice and buying petrol at what the price is. So everybody is being stretched. We need to create safe spaces by having conversations like this, so that we raise the awareness of the teachers to the impact of your stress, parents to the impact of your absence, the children themselves to the impact of them thinking they can get away with what they have gotten. Schools are trying to cut funds. How many schools actually have counselors within the facility on payroll who you can walk in to meet and tell what is on your mind? How many? Many schools don't have a full-time counselor on ground, and we need to normalize it. Even expensive school, some schools can't even have one. You need like 3, because the problems you're dealing with, they are watching cartoons. Some of the things they don't even learn it from home. They learn it from YouTube. They learn it from the movies they are watching. There are many influences in a child's life now. So we have our work cut out for us.
Should we also be, I hear you, because there's a part of school, guidance counselors, counseling, it is key. But the home is the foundation and the crucial part of this child's development.
So I don't know how they do in some places, but I know that teaching is a passion. It should be a passion, first of all. And for you to choose to be a teacher, you have nurturing capacities. And in your training, you will learn beyond 2+2. You will also learn how to identify odd behaviors. You also learn empathy. You also learn how to emotionally connect with children. That's why some kids will prefer to enter this person's class, this teacher's class, than this other teacher's class, right? Because those teachers can pay. See, it's part of the job. If you're not cut out for teaching, leave it. It's like saying because things are hard, the medical doctors will now be forgetting towels inside human beings because they are thinking of NEPA bill. You have some capacities that enabled you flourish in that job. If you cannot do it, go and sing, go and act. Even as an actor, you have some capacities that qualify you to be in that job. So every job is cut out, and we have to, as a country, move away from just 2 + 2 as a teacher. Once I can explain it for them and they understand it, that's not your job. That's not all your job. Your job encompasses their emotional well-being. Every soul, every child that's given to you in your class must be nurtured by you. And that's why you have people, adults tomorrow, who remember this teacher because of how this teacher impacted them. It was beyond 2 + 2. Take your call. I'm not finished.
From Mikeja. You're live.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead, please. Social media.
On this particular topic, I'm very interested. I'm a father too, and I have a daughter in school. I think I belong to the school of thought that says you should train your child to be able to defend him or herself, at least for a start. Because some of these damages that are done to these children are not reversible. So it's better they fight back, let the school authority invite the parents, and let everybody come to school to come and explain what happened. So we know who the oppressor is, and we know who is defending him or herself. Yes, you can always tell them to go and report to the teacher, but a lot of times, teachers are not able to meet the problem on the board. The children will still go back and say, okay, now you're going to report to the teacher, now you're back, we're going to do what we have to do to you. And some of these damages are not reversible. So when you have a child who can fight back, everything becomes a whole lot of problems, and school authority invite the parents. Now we can come to the school and discuss what the issues are, why did you fight her, what did she do to you, and stuff like that. So always treat your child not to be timid, but to be able to fight back, at least to defend him ourselves. Thank you very much.
Let me add something. Okay, so some of these schools, they don't even allow the teachers to carry out their responsibilities very well. Sometimes there's this school I know, the teacher spanked just a little spanking, and they let him go. They sacked the teacher. Because, of course, if you look at the teacher and the child, who brings in the money? So most of these schools, they are money-making, they're after making money. They are not ready to put in what it takes to raise a child. So some teachers, not like as if they cannot, bring discipline a child or do something. This school actually stops them.
Spanking is not the only discipline.
That's not, exactly, that's not one of
it. Let me take some social media comments. Somebody was like, Similolua says, teacher this, teachers that. Please train your children at home. Don't leave the responsibility to teachers. Another person, Deeply, says, yes, the home is the foundation. Teachers can't do the job of parenting. Dame Abika says, parents, send your kids to martial arts school so they can defend themselves. Andrew says, Antnam says, this guy is, okay, some guys have privilege when you go to school with older people. Mina says, if you are damaged, homeschool your kids and please don't throw them into the world to be disturbing others.
Exactly.
Please, who recorded this video?
Let me say, I'll come to you.
I
need to take this call from BC. BC from Benue.
My namesake.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I am surprised to hear that this school is a British school. Because it is expected of British schools not to allow this type of thing to happen in their school. You know, my son graduated from a secondary school where they taught them from the beginning, from J1, how not to bully each other. They made it in such a way that everybody is a leveler. You see even J1 student relating well with the most senior one. And even after school, anywhere you go, all over the world, once you're the student of that school, they call themselves CACAF. When you are out of the school, it's CACAF. When you are a CACAF and you go to anywhere, you cannot be stranded unless there is no CACAF there. Whether it's CACAF 1 or CACAF 17, Set 17, they relate well. Even as I'm talking to you now, my son is having his youth service in Abuja is a junior student that gave him accommodation. His father gave my son accommodation, free accommodation in Abuja. So they made them to relate very, very well and close. But this one, they thought it's the responsibility of the school. They taught them how to be friends, whether you are a senior student or you are a junior student. They relate well. They are friends. They are like family. Every year they come for reunion in their school. So when the junior students are in school already.
Thank you. You know, when she was talking, she reminded me, when I was in school, I went to Corona Secondary School. I was the very first set, my set, but we didn't have any seniors. We were the seniors. So we're looking forward to the new GSS1. When we enter GSS2, oh my God, because we've heard all the stories of, you make them watch plates, you do this and that, carry water. We were fetch water. We were waiting for them. As they came in like that, we all started thinking, okay, who's going to be my own? When we now started, Mrs. Olai, I'll never forget Mrs. Olai, called all of us. That there's no senior here. Yeah. Everybody, you fetch your own water. Nobody should bully anybody in this school. So she made it clear that I'm pairing you up to support them, not to bully them. So you are responsible for this person. Till tomorrow, I still have people that I call them my school daughter. I still say they're my school daughter because I was practically paired up with them. Yeah. So that is the structure of the school that she just reminded me of.
Yes, that every school should have. And I like how she stepped in and handled that. But I want to correct a misconception so that it doesn't look like I'm trying to say that all the teachers should have the responsibility of the parents. No, our responsibilities are different and they are cut out. But as a classroom teacher, one of your responsibilities is observation. We're not saying you should now begin to train the children, adopt them and start breastfeeding them and teach them the way to go. It's not your job. But you must observe what is going on in your environment. You must observe what's going on in your classroom and escalate to the appropriate quarters and also call their parents to be aware. You also asked another question, which is all of us are damaged. You know, there's something they say, we are flawed by design. We can't run away from our trauma. And we end up, if we don't heal our trauma, we end up raising children who are also traumatized and they go out acting. I always talk about personal development. If you are an adult around me and you don't read books, you don't adjust your behavior, people notice some things and they tell you, and you don't correct it, I know that we cannot be friends because you are not ready to grow. And if you don't grow in that aspect, it will affect the children that you are raising. So everybody must, because we were victims of such abuse does not mean we will raise people who become victims tomorrow. We must heal. It's our responsibility to heal. No matter how tired you are, your friend must have told you that this is a bad character you have. This is something you do. This is something we have noticed.
Talk to the fathers, please.
I'm talking about mothers and fathers. What you concern me with just mothers? Mothers and fathers. Most men don't read.
Exactly.
You
don't personal develop themselves.
They don't do personal development. When you call for courses, you call for classes, they will not show up. It's for women. It's women's thing. We were just busy chasing money. You finish chasing money and you damage your daughters at the end of the day. So we must pay attention to some of those things so that you are whole. And when you raise your kids, they will see love. They will see empathy. They will see compassion. And that's who they become at their core. Even when it comes to when they get to their teenage age and they misbehave after a time, they will always come back to that foundation and that grounding that you have shown them. As a classroom teacher, we used to hear some crazy words in the classroom where children are just using words on each other. Where did you learn this? From the house. It's from mommy, it's from daddy. When daddy, in fact, we teachers, we used to hear things. You will hear when the parents are fighting. You will hear it in school.
Okay, let me take this call from Chief Carlo. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Morayo. Let me just talk to you for this. I keep on saying it here that Africa can never develop and Nigeria can never develop. Why am I saying it clearly? 100% in Africa that somebody do you at that children of that level, you do bad, no matter how they see it, you won't respond. How can you stand like that? One of the fellow students, even if a senior student slapping, beating you, doing like that, some other people are there, you keep quiet. At the private school, look at, I teach my children, because my children believe that if somebody senior, even the person beats you, they will not fight back. But I now let them know that any person, even if the person senior you with one day, beat back, break the head, do it as other people do. Don't keep anything like as if doing this as a bomb package. Even fight back. How can I have a grown-up daughter like that? You'll be messing up her like that, misbehaving up like that, at the end of the day, you come back home. I will groom the lady, groom the girl, package the girl, say, that person that's slapping you at the social media, go back and hit her. Like when we'll talk it together. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.
Comments on social media?
Yes, we have.
I think I have a caller. Okay, that was my caller.
All right. Someone says that, Aunt Nam says, we get whooped growing up everywhere. None of the whooping left an everlasting damage. I also had adventure in boarding house. What a great life. Bless Nigeria. It was thrilling. Somebody was saying we expect too much. Koremarka said we're expecting too much from teachers. Are they robots? How much are they even paid self? Margaret said this bully should know she's not too young to go to jail. It's time these kids know the consequences beyond changing schools or letters of apology. There's juvenile court. I said earlier.
Deep place. Let me just take two before you. I said deep place says they no feel observe because salary no good. They just want to teach and go to their house. Corey Michael says, BC, we they read newspaper. When I talked about men that don't read.
Okay, so I've always said on this show that my husband is one that he likes to he's shouting is like his second nature, and so me, I'm used to that. But my kids, so just like you said, teachers observe, you know. So I got a call from one of the teachers talking about one of my children, and I knew exactly where it came from. And I go home and said, let's have a meeting on this matter. We have to have a conversation. We have to. We can structure this thing you are doing. Let us know when to do it. So now, the shouting is shouting, it has to be in his room, but we can still feel the pressure 2 floors down. when the thing is happening in the room, because at least now he doesn't do it in the living room, he goes to the room. But when the pressure is on, the kids, and I'm observing them, and I'm seeing how the energy, I can see
the atmosphere
and I called them for me. A few days ago, I called them for a meeting. I said, now, how do you interpret these things? I don't know who he's talking to, but he was really angry. He said, this is how, he's not really angry. He's just expressing. You know, I was trying to explain to him because I need them to understand what it is. Meaning. Give it a different meaning. So they don't go out doing exactly the same thing to others, because you have to have conversation. And I said, listen, when I was growing up, my father was a lawyer. And in my house, you have to give him the facts. Yeah. What happened? What time did you get there? Who said what? It's based on that you will not have, because I like to have conversation. I must understand you. So there are different ways of addressing issues. You know? So as parents, when teachers give you feedback, don't be defensive. No, many of us say, no, it cannot be yours. This is your job. You must take that feedback in. Look within, see what you can do within, and then also work with the teacher. How can you help this child in this ways? Because we must understand that we've all had different backgrounds. As BC said, we cannot change our background. We are already here. Yes, we must just understand, identify it, and begin to work backwards. Okay, how do I fix it so that I don't damage these children that are coming up?
Further.
So I wanted us to ask. I was curious about who recorded those videos, because the person that recorded the video is the person. Is the person a child, or was the person trying to document? Are phones allowed within the school auditorium? How did the person get the phone? There are many issues that we need to talk about. The school's response should be far more detailed, and I think a lot of attention needs to be given to having children have this, like the Principal always says, we should have family meetings with our children.
Yes, we call our own siblings council.
And encourage the conversation, because you would discover a lot of things. For me, it was my maid was always smacking someone, and I did not even know the level of smacking, but it was in those conversations like, it's always smacking. I'm like, okay, auntie, you need to find a way to manage. If he's disobedient, this is how you go about it. And conversations help, and I don't think any parent can say, I'm too busy to have time for my children, because they did not ask you to come to this world. You are the one that applied that they should come. So we must make out the time. Out of the no time, we'll make out the time to ensure we take care of our
Let's focus
primary
on the school for a second, because I know we've talked about parenting quite a bit. We talked about the child, and we mentioned the school earlier, about the fact that BC said she doesn't accept this, their reasoning. You said you understand where they're coming from, but what can the school do to resolve this going forward? Because if what the social media people are saying is true, where it's quite prevalent in this school, that's a problem. So is it just hiring a guidance counselor? What can they do to stop this completely in their school?
First of all, it should be in their policy. I'm in a school where they give us something to sign as we're resuming every time. And in that signing is that bullying is zero tolerance. That's how they use it. Zero tolerance for bullying. If as much as your child lifts up his hand or her hand and hits another child, the child is going home. and your fees will not be refunded. So it's something that's ingrained in my mind. Every day as I'm dropping off my kids, I'm reminding them, keep your hands to yourself. I don't want to get a report that should come and carry you, because I know the school and I know that they will follow up. See, they have so many candidates. They are not worried about how many million that you are paying. They will gladly package you and say, go to another place who cannot handle you. And it's because the school has been intentional in saying that this will not be allowed anywhere near this place. I think schools need to, first of all, put the children first, just before they put their gains. Because what we see is, when you start making money, at some point, you forget the reason you're doing that thing. Most schools that I know, the people who opened the schools were teachers who looked back and said, I can offer a better quality education to what I was getting and to other children. But when the school starts flourishing and money is coming, sometimes if you're not careful, you forget the reason you have started the school. So go back to the drawing board. What was my first reason? What is my why for why I decided to start the school? And go back to that. It will help you see where you can put your foot down, no matter how much this parent has. If your child has done this and the child needs to be expelled, the child will be expelled and you will stand by it. I think it's one way to also deter parents.
Because people always, that schools find it difficult to expel.
Yeah,
I think when you expel the child once of one, she'll go to another school. Yeah. But it's even, but that doesn't fix the problem. If you expel the child.
The caller, BC, she gave a template.
Oh, I think I have a call. Let me pause you for a second. Hello, Choma, I believe.
Yeah.
You're live. Go ahead, please. Sorry for keeping you.
Oh, good morning. Good morning. I'm so glad I finally got you guys. A quick one, please. I had an experience in secondary school. In fact, I was not a bully naturally. But I found myself in a school of a different, what will I call it now? Different tribe. And I found out that anytime I have a misunderstanding with someone from that tribe because I'm Igbo, I won't call the specific tribe, but I just want you to get to understand. I found out that anytime I have issues with school, with secondary school, I report the teacher. The teacher will always support the other tribe over me. Why? Because he's, the same tribe. And I noticed that it was particular with, and some of us in school then, we're finding this thing very difficult. And I started to become a bully because nobody could stand to defend me, you understand? If I'm in a school where, a different tribe, I'm not valued because I'm Igbo, you understand? And I don't know how to explain it, but I found out this thing kept on going on. And when you go to beat the teacher will always beat me. They will always side me over that tribe. I noticed this number of times, and I decided to become a bully to defend myself. So the best thing I started doing was I started beating, fighting back, intimidating people, because I found myself in an environment where, because I am Igbo, you understand, I can't be defended. So sometimes, like you said, I think.
Thank you so much, Chema. I love that angle. Like Chema is saying, she was also discriminated against. Yeah.
And
that's what
made her a bully.
Her bullying tendencies. So guys need counsel. So someone like that should be able to have an objective guidance counselor. Because imagine the guidance counselor is also from the tribe she's talking about. Yeah. There have been a problem.
If your child comes to meet you and say, I feel I'm being bullied based on where I am from, please take that child out of that school. Don't say you will learn from there, because you might make the learning might be being calcified. So when you break a bone and it is growing back, sometimes it might be calcification.
You cannot remove a child because
you can remove a child.
You can remove a child, but there's some factors that will not let you remove a child. For example, maybe you're coming to a community for the first time, you cannot leave that place. So there are different reasons. Let us also highlight the importance of fixing the problem. The school should fix the problem. Yes. Either sack the teacher or get somebody who's going to ensure that child is protected.
If they don't do it, your child is more important than helping the school to find a system. But in talking to the school, like in all businesses, when it comes to business, your business thrives based on the strategy you have put in place. Similarly with schools, if you know that we're living in a world where bullying has always been, but we now have social media and we have camera phones to capture bullying. Unlike when we were growing up, there was no social media to capture the bullying. So if we now say we want a school that prevents bullying, I love what the BC caller said, that they had a system in place that built unity, that built love, that build the fact that we have an identity. See, everything thrives, lands and begins and ends on identity. How do we see ourselves? We are the ladies of your view. We are enterprising, we are confident, we are bold, we support one another. We have seen ourselves as that. Anybody that joins us would align with that. If you don't align, you find yourself irrelevantly kicked out of the scene, whether you like it or not, because that's the structure. It's an unwritten rule, but it is there.
It's there.
In schools too, you must have that structure that says, this is our identity. Because when you gift people that identity, they would align with it. When there is no clearly defined identity, we say that's the Nigerian dream. When we don't have a clearly defined identity, we don't know what we are living up towards. Every child in the school will be like, this is not who you are. In this school, we don't do things like this. Are you a member of this school? Where are you coming from? So we gift that identity. So a school must have a structure that drives the identity of who we are. I remember listening to Sanusi talking about his Catholic school. And he was saying that in that school, we were taught honesty. We were taught integrity. That if you check everybody that went to that school, you will find the traits in them. As far back as
how many years?
Like these people, we were grilled to have these values. So the school must define the identity, as so also parents must define the identity and value for your family.
And they should also have a whistleblower policy. Like you have kids where you say, you know what, if something's happening, let me know. And don't let it be obvious. It has, you know, they have this anonymous. They used to call this anonymous. They have a word for it back then. Some secret agent, something where everybody knows.
Now they'll call you a snitch.
They won't know it's you.
It's okay, yeah.
They won't know it's you. Because that's why it's whistleblower. Nobody's going to know it's you. You keep quietly, but you tell them this person, and that's how you get.
And you'll be rewarded, Noni.
I also like the fact that suspension and expulsion should come back into the system. It's like we flushed it out of the system. It should come back. And when they go back home, parents too, you try as much as possible and make them feel bad.
Social media Ramato say, they expelled my child. My child is not social media age. You will come, they'll suspend your children, you post it on social media. Your child is expelled, they will put it on social media. And the angle they'll bring that post on, the whole nation will be supporting. Say,
if they expel your child for bullying, you should hide your head in shame. What is social media business?
You won't say that it's bullying. You say there was traumatized, he was discriminated against, and he defended himself. You did on the angle. It's all about the angle you put it in. You get a PR person, they put a nice angle, and then it gets public support. So there's a lot of factors working against schools, working against the system, working against. So we're
a reflection of the schools.
I still believe in spare the rod and spoil the child. I still believe strongly they should be punished. They should be spanked. Corporal punishment, honestly.
They should bring them to the front of the assembly and say, these are the bullies.
Because I know how much that shaped me. Because I know I'm going to be, flogged. I know how they will come in on assembly ground and flog me. So I make sure that I don't do certain things.
It didn't shape me.
So I get there are different kinds of people. Yeah. Like I remember when I was raising my kids, when my kids are still young, when I was raising them, I was telling my son that my daughter, I have a daughter, she's auditory. Once all she needs to do is hear this is a problem, she adjusts and she flees. She doesn't want to hear that. Once she hears it, she's okay.
She takes herself out.
My son, hey, until you spank.
Kinesthetic.
No, his own is kind. You have to spank him because there are different kinds of children. Yeah. So maybe that is what appeals to you. It didn't work for other people. Yeah. So you must not the child that needs spanking, the child that needs speaking to, the child that needs visual. Cues.
But the schools shouldn't even be spanking. There are ways to instill punishment and fear without necessarily hitting the children.
I had a cane master, Mr. Ajimoda.
Exactly. We don't need that anymore because they flock out of frustration from what is happening in their own house and come and enjoy your children. No. There are other ways to let the punishment.
Let me teach you. Once I collect PS4 like this, the crying.
Let me teach you.
Teach me.
If you're a teacher and the student in your child, a child in your class does something,
you are not allowed to.
You don't spank. You report to the cane master. This is what happened. They call the child. What happened? Once the cane master realized that, okay, you are wrong. You deserve 10 strokes. He makes a decision. The teacher cannot just spank.
How am I sure that this cane master is okay? What if it's psychological
because you are a cane master, you must.
You're supposed to. No, there's nothing like that. Expel them, suspend them, give them tasks, take away the things that make them happy. You will see. There are other ways.
Let's take comments on social media, please. Let us. About to finish up the show. Trying to see if I have any comments here.
So Corey Michael says, in our time, suspension was the norm. Adiola Olowokere said, I know someone who became aggressive and hot-tempered because he was bullied as a child. He went through counseling and it still didn't work. He can't deal with people for long because of his temper. So these are the side effects, long-term side effects of bullying. Olayinka, they said the school has a responsibility of feeding parents back on children's bad character and work together to correct the children.
Somebody said something here. I'm not sure it's good for tea. let me pass that one. Okay. There's a guy, Kelvin Odans. He says that my first night in boarding school, we were all ordered to present all the provisions our parents brought for us. The senior students took the lion's share and gave us what we wanted. I'm sure one of those senior students is probably on Twitter today doing anti-bullying activism. But the point is that, so that's part of the training we had, because those times where you hear stories of bullies who will just take all your provision, make you fetch the water, take your, so those things, I mean, is debatable. Did it shape who we are? Did it make us better adults? Did it make us traumatized adults?
We're not better.
Depends on who you ask.
I did my meat under
Number 2 would not say she's traumatized. Number 2 says she's
I've not dealt with her personally. I will find out.
It shaped
but then you do one or two
depends on who you're talking to.
We find
Any other comments?
So one comment, we should also teach our children to speak out when they see such crazy acts. Then somebody said, Chai, command secondary school tough in Nigeria. Some people, corporal punishment.
Mr. Tijani is always sending me, let me see if I sent any message so far. I can't even find. Okay, there he is. He said, good morning, ladies. That bullying video is the height of cruelty from a supposed human being to another. My philosophy has always been that a community is a replica of the individual household, that is family. The main bullying culprit, the boy sitting next to the bullied girl, and the person who stood there to do the recording should be brought to book to serve as a deterrent to all the intending bullies. What audacity! The Ministry of Education should restore and enforce discipline back to our schools, and parents must take up responsibility. I get that.
The place says the school should also be sanctioned for issues like this. Maybe when the school gets sanctioned, if parents can petition the Ministry of Education that my child got bullied and there's video evidence like this, and the school, most developed countries, the US and UK, it was based on taking them to court.
Yes,
when they realize that they are taking you to court, by the time your 3 or 4 of your parents take the school to court and they are having to pay settlement and all of that, they will realize everybody in the office we cannot afford to play around this thing.
You get more hands.
Okay, I think we can wrap up on this. I think that's all we can take on the show. But really, in a nutshell, this was a really traumatizing video to watch. It was really painful, and I really hope the parents take this up with the school, and the school puts appropriate measures for this never to happen. It's really bad that this school, we're getting this information, but I know for a fact that it's not only this school. Many schools in Nigeria are going through this. It's just that their own story is not yet on social media. So schools generally should take a video of the advice that will be given here. You said they should put policies in place to make it more united, where kids feel like they are there together to support each other. And you also talked about how to ensure that there is, was it framing the identity of the school? And then I talked about whistleblowing policy. Let's put everything together to protect our children. And parents, if we need to develop ourselves, please, let's do, because we've accepted ourselves. We are all damaged. Everybody has some kind of damage in Nigeria.
I'm telling you,
but we can't now pass that on to our children. So let's get help, develop ourselves so that we can be better parents. That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.